portion of the Town of Wellfleet Conservation Meeting of October 7th, 2020. This is conducted pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Sections 18 through 25, as amended by Chapter 28 of the Acts of 2009, the Wetlands Protection Act, and the Wellfleet Environmental Protection Bylaw and its regulations. This meeting is further conducted pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order, suspending certain portions of the open meeting law and his further orders regarding strict limitations on the number of people who can meet and the requiring of remote participation. The first issue on the agenda is vessels and boats. Hillary, would you like to start us off? We can't hear you. You're on mute.
Yep. At one of our previous meetings, we selected a number of landings that each person was going to go out to and photograph. So I've compiled all of that so that we could easily move through them. We also have Suzanne Thomas online, Denny O'Connell, Nancy Chavetta was going to join us, and Will Sullivan was as well. I don't know whose phone number is this, 508-479-655. Oh, that's Barbara. Okay. So it looks like we have Suzanne. We don't have Nancy. Oh, there's Nancy in the corner. Yep.
This is Will's day off, so I don't know whether he's going to make it or not.
Okay, no problem. So then I'm just going to jump to share screen here, and we have Ann Udowitz also with us tonight, who's particularly interested in the subject matter. So
yeah, we have two other people I see on my screen. I don't know them. Richard Redeker and A. Fausto's phone.
Ann Fausto Sterling is the president of the Field Point Homeowners Association. And so I had let her know too about joining in today.
Thank you, Nancy.
Could I have spelling on that name?
Fausto is F-A-U-S-T-O-S.
F-A-U-S-T-O-F-S.
Fausto.
Okay, thank you.
I believe she uses another last
Sullivan.
name too, Sterling.
Thank you, Denny.
Okay. So
I'm Rich Redeker. I'm from Field Point also.
great.
Okay, and it looks like Will Sullivan is connecting also.
Okay, perfect. Can you guys all see the screen or
No,
not yet?
No, I'm on the
Okay.
phone.
Okay, those of you on the phone aren't going to be able to see the screen, but what it is just pictures of the landings and what we
Okay.
saw. So I'll move through them quickly. I can email this out to those of you that want to see it, but I thought it would give us, you know, a little perspective into what we're dealing with and where. So these photos are from Leon, and he traveled from Payne Hollow to Whalebone Point. So I'm just going to move through. If somebody wants to stop on one in particular, I'm happy to do so. So this is just giving us some perspective into what's going on here. Okay. And then we had two folks at Old Pier. I think Debbie went to Old Pier, and so did Michael Fisher. So here are some from Old Pier. Just so we can see, the boats are all, for those on the phone, the boats are on the grass and they're on the sand. There's quite a few of them.
Seem to be mostly on vegetation of
Yep.
the ones we've looked at.
Yep.
They are.
So we're going to get back to Old Pier because Michael's pictures are at the end, but here's King Phillip, the parking lot. Both stashed up there. Indian Neck, this is just one or two wayward boats by Samoset at a particular property. So we can get some private property perspective here. That's just a giant windsurfer out at Field Point. North of Lieutenant Island Bridge, there's a boat. Then we move to Lieutenant Island. These photos come to us from Barbara. I mean, we've got dinghies and cinder blocks and lots of kayaks all on vegetation. It's an overview next to the boathouse. Then we go to Omaha Road. Same situation here. There's what's remaining of the boat rack, and you can see the erosion going on underneath it. Here's, you know, one picture where you can see the boats are resting half on the boat rack and half on the grass, and they take up the whole spit of land, and that is town owned. And we've got these two larger vessels on the end. Then we could move to Chipman's Cove, where the situation seems to be fairly similar. Here, these are all on the sand and attached to the wood that I think the harbor master puts out there. So these are all on the rack in the back, and up front, they're on the vegetation. A couple of these, which I'm assuming are tenders. Couple stray sailboats. These photos came from John Kumbler. I can't quite recall where he is. I don't know if he's at
Powers
Landing.
Landing.
That was my guess. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna retitle that while we're here. Sorry. Okay, Powers Landing. On the sand there. I mean, anything from tubes to wheels to metal boats, plastic boats. Then we jump back to Old Pier. I think these are from Michael pointing out that this one has a Jack's Boat Rental sticker on it. So that's a rental vessel somehow landing there. Then we have some more Indian Neck. So I'd say we can see from these pictures that the problems are everywhere. Even where there's boat racks, we're exceeding boat racks. And so that there is the overview. We can go back to particular areas if folks want to go back, but that provides some perspective to what we're talking about.
I guess next we should go to Michael and Denny to talk about what their efforts yielded and what's happened in the space where they tried to get the boats taken care of.
Denny, why don't you go ahead? You're muted.
Denny, you're muted. You need to unmute.
I was saying that matters. Mike, I'll take the first crack and then you can add whatever you may want to. Specifically, well, I think you're all familiar with what we've done at Old Wharf Point. And we have 20 kayaks on a rack that we have provided. We sticker them all and keep them off the grass. That's not where we have issues. Our issues are with the shell fishermen with whom we've been working, and there has been some improvement there. And then we have some vessels that have appeared that we don't know where they came from. We put a sticker on them saying, please remove this. And we gave them 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. and went back and found 6 vessels with stickers still on them and not having been damaged by use in the water. So our initial sticker said we're going to take them away, and we did. And we decided to put them down Old Wharf Road, probably about a half mile from where they came from, and just left them by the side of the road. And so we had 6 there. And after a couple of days, 2 of them disappeared, and then 4 of them reappeared down at Old Wharf Point. So, and as of, I guess about a week and a half ago, of those 4, 2 were still remaining down at Old Wharf Point. One without ever having wetted the sticker, which was on the bottom of the boat. So they're still there, and we're tempted to take them away. I've arranged with DPW to take them when we're ready, and so we'll store them out at DPW. But and frankly, I don't care what happens to them after that. But we're not destroying them right away. Mike, anything significant?
No, only we're clearly trying to do a public service by putting up the rack at our expense and maintaining it and going through the whole process basis. And it's clearly helped a lot. There's 20 kayaks that are not on the grass that would have been, but it's not sufficient for people who either never applied for the sticker from us or didn't get one, or that they're shellfishermen who are putting their boats marked as shellfish boats. So it's very hard to know which is which.
I would say that our lottery system has worked well. People accept the results of it. And if they didn't win a slot on the rack, then they really don't complain much, and we haven't seen any evidence of those people reappearing. And but you know, I wish we could have more space down there, but it's a tight beach, and we've taken a lot of the beach over by our rack, although it would have been taken over by kayaks.
Now, at our last discussion, John Portnoy raised a point which Will Sullivan also raised, which is, would it be better to tell people what they could do rather than what they could not do? And I was just curious as to how we would get the word out and how many spots we actually have versus how many people want to use them.
Well, I did notice that several of the boats, including that Sunfish, were from Jack's boat rental. And I don't know, asked to inform people that they can't just leave it in the grass or leave it on the grass. Whether that would be a possible way to at least get some of the people who may not live here are just renting.
I'm not sure those rules are well understood.
So I think the number of boats at some of these landings, John Ryerson would know because he issues the permits for. So at Mayo Beach and Indian Neck and Gull Pond. Old Wharf Point, Denny, do you know how many boats you can accommodate on that rack?
20.
Plenty?
20. We're maxed out.
Okay.
And then we have the shellfish guys to worry about too.
Hillary, it's Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, I just posted the most current waiting lists for the spots on the racks. the 4 locations that we manage. And we have about 60 people on the waiting list altogether. 37 of whom are at Gull Pond.
Do you know how many, you don't know how many spots you have at each?
Yes, I do. We have 100 spots at Gull Pond.
Okay.
We have 16 spots at Powers Landing.
16.
Yes, 16. We have 40 spots at Mayo Beach.
Okay.
And I think Indian Neck is 30, but don't hold me to that. John would know better than I.
Okay.
Suzanne, do you have any information on Field Point?
None whatsoever.
And you guys don't administer that at all?
No, we do not.
Field Point, as in the side that's owned by the state?
No, it's probably about 200 yards down, not Field Point, I'm sorry, Pleasant Point.
Pleasant Point, yes, we manage that one. And I'm looking for my book to get you the number, but I think my book is on Doug's desk. But I would say that one has about 20 spots.
Do you sticker them?
We do actually issue them stickers and we collect money.
Good.
So grossly, it looks like there are about 200 spots. Maybe 250 or 300.
Yeah, under 300.
Nancy, how many spots do, if you know, do shellfishermen use?
I don't really know. Probably, I mean, a lot of at Powers Landing, a lot of them have their canoes are in the water, and along Indian Neck Beach, most of them have their canoes in the water. The place where I notice, I mean, even down at Old Wharf Point, I see little, dinghies in the water, except for the one canoe that we looked at together, Denny.
Yep.
So it's hard for me to know because it's not something that the Shellfish Department manages. So I don't think it's a lot. Most of them put them kind of in the intertidal area with an anchor, kind of like you have at Powers Landing. But, if you look down the beach at Indian Neck, you'll see, especially down around where the revetments stop, down there's quite a few little dinghies and canoes that they use.
And are they well marked as tied to shellfish grants?
I don't know. It's not something that we oversee.
Isn't that something that the harbor master puts sticker on?
For shellfishing.
We don't
Yeah.
put stickers on them. We ask that they write their name and phone number on them.
Oh, right. We talked about this at the last meeting.
Okay.
And that happens at Old Wharf Point, both South Point and North Point, where we can identify the shellfishing guys, only because we know their names, or Bill specifically knows their names. And so we can see who it is. We had a couple of issues with people leaving it in the grass on the north end, and we've talked to those. And I haven't been out there in a week or so, but I think that's been cured.
So it seems, and correct me if I'm wrong, that most of the problem is not coming from shellfishermen at all, but coming from either residents of Wellfleet who do not have access to the kayak racks or vacationers who are here as renters. Do you
I
think
wouldn't let the shellfish guys off that easy, but there's still some residual improvement to be made. But in general, they're a lot better than a lot of other locations.
And the point I made last time is that if no one can tell that the shellfish a special case, then they see boats there and they say, well, they do it, so I'll do it. So it would really help if they were distinctively identified, and then we could, if they're on the grass, move them to the beach securely, or the other people perhaps wouldn't just emulate them.
And I'm happy to, participate in requesting compliance. I guess I just want to learn, I just want to be educated onto what are the rules, what department or committee do they live under? And then, what do I need to be enforcing on? But I'm more than happy to chip in and ensure compliance. I also need to be educated on the rules.
So we have rules that live in the Wellfleet Environmental Protection Regulations. And, as far as shell fishermen or aquaculturists, it does say that each licensed commercial fisherman or aquaculturist who stores a small vessel associated with his or her work at a town landing will be allocated one sticker at no charge and a second sticker at no charge if work is done at 2 different locations within Wellfleet Harbor. Stickers for fishermen and aquaculturists shall be a year-round permit and available upon request from the harbor master. So it seems like this whole stickering thing is no longer valid because stickers are no longer given out. People are just writing on their boats.
That would be the best theory, is to write on it.
Is there some, I don't know, put a box around it in certain color with a certain size marker, Will, that would show that it is registered with you? Something that is unique, but seen on every aquaculturist or shell fisherman's boat, so that we can be sure which boats are theirs?
Sure, if let's say if they had a shellfish farm, maybe they put their farm numbers on there as well, with their phone number.
Can I ask, it said on town landing, is at the end of King Phillip Road considered a town landing? Go ahead.
Hillary, go ahead.
I was gonna say the end of King Phillip Landing is not on our list of approved locations.
So why are there shellfish or boats parked there then?
When I was out there taking those 2 sailboats, I didn't see many shellfish in boats out there.
Let me just clarify. Anne, are you talking about the end of Omaha, which is?
No, the end of King Phillip, where all the canoes are, which are in the water. And then I thought you just said, I think Will said there were some up on the banks there that were shell fishermen's boats.
Not at the field point that I know of. The ones on Indian Neck are in the water and on hard sand. They're not.
Where's Indian Neck? That's at the end of King Phillip Road. Is that right?
No, you're wrong.
Okay.
Indian Neck is out towards the jetty and Chipman's Cove and the harbor.
Okay. How about at the end of King Phillip Road where there's all those boats?
That's Field Point.
That's Field Point. Okay. Is that considered a town landing?
No, that's Commonwealth of Massachusetts land.
So across from there, that's between Omaha Road and King Phillip. The oystermen do have their canoes in the water, but from what I understand just previously, they said that some of their boats are on the land there too.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
There are 2 aluminum skips that have been there all summer, one way up in the marsh. They have no identification that I've ever seen.
Oh yes, I saw that the other day. Okay.
I think if it were a shell fisherman's, it would get used.
Definitely. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
No, there was another one I saw. There was a dinghy the other day way up off the path. Okay. So I guess when you're saying that no more stickers, I had spoken to, not Will, but another harbor master about how to get boats removed on Omaha Road. And they told me to speak to that people have, that if there's not a sticker issued by the beach commissioner, then any boat not on a rack can be removed by the harbor master. So there have been so many boats on Omaha Road, not on the rack, with no stickers. And I would like to know, how do you notify the commissioner to come and get them? And how can people know to get stickers from the commissioner?
I was out there.
Education or information at a rack saying, if you do not have a sticker, or please see the beach commissioner for a sticker, or your boat will be removed.
Okay, let's let the beach commissioner, I'm sorry, the harbor master talk.
Okay.
When I went out there the other day, per request, we only did see the 2 that were not on racks, and we took them. The other ones were on the racks. It looked full compliance with the racks when we.
Right, but Will, as I told you, I had started taking pictures in April, and there were tons of boats going all the way to the end off the rack. And I spoke to, not you, but I went down to the harbor and spoke to another harbor master there with the beard. I think he was with the beard, Mom. And I said, how do you get boats?
I'm the only one with the beard.
Pardon?
I'm the only one with the beard.
Then he wasn't with the, he was anyway, we were down there. We spoke to 2 guys down at the harbor, and they said all boats must have a sticker on them, which are issued by the beach commissioner. And if they don't have a sticker, then they are to be removed. So when I see boats, or how is one to know that those are the rules if there's no postings?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It has to be posted somewhere that those are the rules for people to follow.
I think this issue needs a big educational effort, not only for residents, but for people who rent their houses. They should let the renters know, but I think we need really firm guidelines that are spelled out very clearly, and maybe it goes out with the tax bill, maybe it goes into the non-seasonal homeowners association newsletter, but I think we need some education, not just about you can't put your boat on the grass, but why it's important, what our role is to protect the resource.
But if it's town property, whenever you drive up to a town beach, it says beach permit required for parking. So why can't there be a sign on all town properties saying boat sticker required? Otherwise, $500 fine.
That's a good point, but I think this problem extends even beyond town landing. People are putting it on their properties, on resources that the Conservation Commission is supposed to be protecting. So even if it's on private property, it's not supposed to be there.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree. But I know at Omaha Road, it's putting the actual road at risk, because we've had boats from both ends of the property. And I've shared photos with Doug and Hillary of this happening, and with Mr. O'Connell. And I've been sharing those since many months. And I'd like to know what the protocol is to get some action on this.
I don't think we have a protocol. And what we're talking about is developing one. I think that one other place we might look is the beach sticker office, and having a sheet that goes out there indicating where you can put your boat and under what circumstances you can have a boat on the beach, and that under other circumstances you must remove your boat and cannot store it on the beach. I think Barbara's right. It is an educational issue. I think we have a lot of work to do to reach as many people as possible.
May I say something at this point? The photo that Hillary has up right now on the screen is of the Omaha Road area, and the boats in the foreground are on half a rack because the other half of the rack was washed away. And so what they are is on half a rack, and the rest on vegetation that was supposed to have been protected. So really, there's only one complete rack still left at that spot. And the half a rack will probably get washed away this winter, I mean. I want to second the idea that we really need town signage there. because people come from all over to leave their boats there, from Samoset and across on Hiawatha. It's not just the residents of Field Point. And without clear signage from the town at that spot, it's going to continue to happen. This isn't instead of Barbara's idea, but because I think Barbara's also right, but it's a both and.
Well, and I think on our end here, we wanted to evaluate all of the landings and see what it looked like everywhere. And we will come up with signage for next year. And I agree with you. Omaha is not going to have a boat rack anymore because there's just no land to put it on. So it's going to be a sign at Omaha, for instance, that says no boat storage here. And then it's, do we have the staffing and the capability to remove boats and to monitor this every time a new boat arrives? So, I mean, we're going to need a partnership with the abutters to sort of help us work through this too, because we're not out there every day. So boats are going to arrive every day. You know, it's not going to be the easiest thing to man and patrol when you think about all of these locations. And so, you know, in this particular location, I'm fairly certain there will be no boat rack. So that makes this location easier than some of the others in a way, but people are going to want to move those boats somewhere else. So we're going to have to.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Who would you advise us to call?
Well, I think once we have that established, we will let you know. But I mean, in that particular location, there will be no boat storage there. I'm fairly certain of that going forward, just because there isn't going to be the land mass to do it. So I guess I mean, we'll figure that piece out as we get closer. But, you know, some of the other areas are a little more difficult as well to kind of get a handle on.
Well, I think Omaha is particularly egregious because people are cutting up and down that dune and just knocking the heck out of it. So that's wonderful not to have any there.
At Field Point, we lost that kayak rack, but people are still putting kayaks there. Some of them are jacked rental kayaks as well.
Whose rack was that?
That was right?
Just the town.
That was a joint rack between Field Point and the town. So AmeriCorps put it in. Field Point paid for the cost.
Suzanne, are there places where we can put other racks?
Well, other places or additional racks in the existing places?
Both, I guess, without taking up too much of the beach.
Well, I think Mayo Beach could be expanded. There is some room for growth there. The most popular place, of course, is Powers Landing, which has 16, and the only way we can put more racks is by cannibalizing parking spots, which will mean people rising up and picketing my office. So I don't think we're going to do that.
Well, the Powers Landing parking lot is very small anyhow.
Exactly. It only has about 24 parking spots, including the two handicap spots. So to take 2 of those for additional rack space is probably not indicated. I haven't done a site visit to Indian Neck since we put the racks in there, but I suspect we could put some more at Indian Neck. Gull Pond is maxed out. So the only 2 potential places right now that are on the list would be Mayo Beach and Powers Landing.
And I would
leave it to the decision of the CONSCOM where they feel it would be appropriate to put additional racks on town landings. Those landings that don't have any now, but could accommodate them if possible in terms of size of the beach and size of the landing.
Hillary, can you think of any places?
We don't have that many town landings where boating is desirable, and I'm a little hesitant to put more at Mayo Beach too, because I think we have abutters on the other side who are already a little upset about all the boat racks at Mayo Creek, Powers Landing, I agree. We can't take up any more parking for boats, and that parking lot is super tight anyway. So I sort of feel like we're maxed out with what we have at Mayo Beach, Powers Landing, Indian Neck, and Pleasant Point. Gull Pond is sort of unique because it's a pond and there's no more space there. So I feel like we have a limited amount of space if we want to continue to preserve our resource area. And I think we just have to get signs out before the boats start arriving. So late winter, you know, putting folks on notice that boats must be on the rack. I think we need a stronger stickering system, because if people are just writing their name and number on their boat, that doesn't really say I have approval to put my boat here. So we need some way to sort of do that. And I think we just have to come on stronger with the enforcement. If there's no place to store these things, people need to take them home. I mean,
And I don't think that's a good idea to make them take them home. There's nothing that says they have the right to do it.
but it's a cultural thing, right?
Well, yeah, we've been there.
Opening up more access to these.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
Sorry. I think bring out way more access to our lane.
You're still breaking up. We can't hear you.
Is it a
Nancy,
little better?
that's a little better.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we really need to figure out ways to make our lands more available to people. We have a lot more users now. There's a lot more people getting out in canoes and kayaks, sailboats, motorboats, in the water, swimming. There's a lot more people here. And to try to fight that, tell everyone, no, go home, leave. That's not good. That's not going to work. In order to get people to appreciate this land like we do, and all of you do, we want them to use it. The truest way to get someone to care about this land is to give them a way to use it more. And then in return, they will cherish this land and fight for it. The more we tell people, no, don't use this, take your stuff home, go away, the more that they'll fight that, and the more they'll despise every bit of it and leave their stuff lying around. I think that the negative culture with that sort of thing needs to stop, and we need to figure out a way to make this more user friendly, to make more access for people. We're not going to stop more people from coming. We're not going to stop more people from using it. Let's have them use it. Let's have them cherish it. Let's have them help and fight to protect it. And they won't do that if they're not using it. And I know from... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, someone's trying to talk. I can't hear who it is.
I didn't want to interrupt, but I would like to follow up what's being said. I don't know who's speaking, but I'd like to follow that.
Go ahead, Barbara.
I think people can use the resource, kayak as much as they want. I know a lot of people who just bring them, launch them, and then bring them back home. Most people have racks or a truck or some way to transport kayaks. We're not stopping them from enjoying it. We're just stopping them from closing and loss of habitat and other things that the Conservation Commission has to protect.
Last meeting, when I spoke about the racks and asked why more of them weren't twice as tall, and I was told one of the reasons is because people couldn't get them off the higher racks. Well, if they can't get them off a higher rack, how are they going to put them on top of their cars and take them every time they want to use them?
Some people put them in the back of their cars like I do. I can't lift mine on the top, but I slide it into the back.
You slide a kayak into the back of your car?
Yep.
That's right.
What kind of car do you have? Do you have just a sedan like most people, or?
Yes, I have a little RAV4.
Okay, so you have a hatchback SUV. that you can slide it in and hang it out on while you drive back and forth. But what if you had like a city car, a sedan?
I see people who have this little wheel contraption where they can slide it up to the top of their car, or more often than not, there are two people and they can do it. And if they can't, well, then they have to figure out a way. We can't just have everybody who wants to kayak leave their vessel on the resource.
No, but we
Debbie,
could
may
have
I
more.
speak? Debbie, may I speak?
Please go ahead.
I don't think any of us would want to keep people out of the water, and I think we all want to encourage people to get out and enjoy the water. I think the town has to decide how many racks we want on our shoreline. You know, I'm not saying there are too many. I'm not saying there are too few. I'm just saying we have to I think the town, all of us should make a conscious decision. How many racks we want to see, and stick to the rules that you can't put if there's no rack space available, you can't put your boat on vegetation, on shoreline vegetation.
Can I build on that point? And it's one that John made earlier about what are we trying to protect. At Indian Neck, at the mouth of Chipman's Cove, the town has a large pole with eye hooks in it on the beach, so that any kayaks tied to that, they're floating around at high water. At low water, they're on hard sand. And there's a very large number of those eye hooks. You could probably, instead of a rack, if you could sink a pole in there with eye hooks, you could accommodate a lot more people.
I don't,
think
go ahead, Barbara.
The department should create a subcommittee where a couple of people can start working on this, figure out ways to get the word out, figure out ways to do the education piece, look at the potential for expansion of racks anyplace, and instead of everyone trying to solve this problem, we're not going to wrap our heads around it in the next 15 minutes. We should have a couple of people who are passionate about this and who want to devote some time to this.
I think that's a very good suggestion, and it ties in well with the regulations we're getting redone now, because I think this has to be addressed in our regulations, meaning the commission's regulations, in a broader way than it's addressed now.
Can I ask a question to Suzanne? I like that idea as well. Suzanne, you do issue stickers to the boats that John Ryerson monitors, correct?
That's correct.
And we do not have problems at Mayo Beach or Powers Landing or Gull Pond or Indian Neck.
Correct. Because
No,
if there's an unstickered boat, we leave a notice, and if they don't pay any attention, we confiscate it and secure it.
So it seems to me like our beach department actually does a good job administering the portion of the program that they're administering. And there are stickers. So I think we need to get that sticker model for Pleasant Point, going forward. And Old Wharf Point, you guys are handling. Omaha's going to be gone and Field Point is going to be gone. So I think we need to hold tight to that model going forward.
There's one other model, and that's what the marina does. There are a limited number of slips, and if you don't get one, you're on a waiting list, and you can't launch your boat, on a day basis and then take it out. So, I mean, we do have a model, and that's the marina model.
And we do have the regulations that go along with the stickering model. So it seems like the outlier and where the issues arose are Field Point and Omaha mainly, and Old Wharf Point, which are the ones not necessarily monitored or managed by the town.
Can I ask a question? when you say Omaha's going to be gone, that just means the racks. That does not mean the boats.
Correct.
So when there are boats there, what do you do?
Well, if we look at the regulations, they will say that those boats will be removed.
Okay.
Okay. Hillary, I think at this point, we should set up a subcommittee. The subcommittee should meet and come back to us I'd say within the month.
Yeah, but I think it's important that we look at the regulation because the process is outlined in the regulation. So I agree with you. A subcommittee's great. We should hold tight to what the regulation says. And we need to obviously work with the beach department on this as well because they're doing it well.
Okay, so who would like to be on the subcommittee from the commission?
I'll do it.
Who's that? I'm sorry, I've lost video.
Ben.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Ben.
Ben, okay. Who else?
Okay, I'll do it.
Michael? Barbara, do you want to do that also?
I guess you could twist my arm. I'll start out with that.
Okay, so we have Ben, Michael, and Barbara. And I would ask you to meet and come up with a proposal how to deal with this.
Okay, who wants to convene that meeting?
Should we correspond via email or do we need to do it here? Or
No, you can do it via email.
Yeah,
okay.
okay, all right.
All right, is there anything else then that we need to address on the vessels and boats?
I might put that we ask Will if he has any good ideas for where additional racks might go, because perhaps he sees areas from the water that we might not identify with from our landing.
Okay, so the subcommittee can talk to him about that. All right, the next,
Debbie,
yes.
I think we're only talking about half of the problems. I think we're only talking about the where the racks are and what are the rack rules and all that. I still haven't heard any way of developing what the ground rules are for storing of vessels or anything on resources.
Danny, I think the subcommittee, we're going to tackle that.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move on. Is on mail. Is there any mail?
Can I ask one question? Because this ties into an ongoing issue, not necessarily boat, vessel, kayak related, but when you talk about things being stored, and I know this is something that the commission has talked about at great length, several times in the past. People store things on their property. I am at a loss as to how to handle storage of things on property. Things that some people consider junk are, another person's like absolute treasures that they value and part of their farming equipment, or, this is my art studio. I sit here and I paint, but we've never really gotten too far on the storage of stuff in the resource area and buffer zones, and it comes up time and again. And I guess the stuff in my mind is sort of the same as the boats.
Yeah, I think, Hillary, that's another issue we should put in the regulations, and that's an issue to hash out there.
Okay, because we're up against an issue now where we have two folks, they're abutters, and there's a disagreement, and there was tree cutting on one property, and on the other property it's alleged that there's too much stuff in the resource area, and stuff, compost pile, boat, unregistered car, all these things that come up. And a strict read on the regulation would say that they're not dredging, filling, or altering but they're storing stuff and it's been stored there for a long time. Just something that I'm struggling with understanding how to move forward with or
Another subcommittee.
well, I don't know if it's subcommittee worthy, but I know we talk about it a lot. Like we have
Yeah, we do.
the tent issue, or if we actually get to go out on a property and we see things, then we have a way to get it removed or cleaned or remedied or mitigated. But a flat out complaint about a neighbor who's just storing something, like I have no idea really how to go there.
How about urban blight rules?
I think that's something we have to address in the regulations. Talk about what alteration of a property is within the resource area.
Okay, can we just not lose sight of that as we're working through our regulation? I just don't want to lose that.
Yeah, if you make a note of it.
Okay, stuff.
All right. So let's move on because we have 9 minutes. Is there any mail that we need to discuss?
No, we'll present that at the next meeting. We got a couple letters going out for violations.
Are there any jurisdictional opinions?
None. We have, actually, we got in one letter that I'd like to read to you. It came in the end of September, and it says, "Dear Miss Freeman, please let me introduce myself. I'm the daughter-in-law of Peter and Marika Hall. My husband, Paul, is Marika's oldest son. They, for many years, lived on the marsh near Aunt Sarah's Way in South Wellfleet. Peter held many positions in town. I believed he served some time on your commission. Marika loved living in their home on the salt marsh. They are doing well living at Masonic Overlook Home near us and enjoying their life. They celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary this year, and Marika will turn 90 in November. With COVID-19, there has been little chance to celebrate these important milestones with them. Our whole blended family misses the Cape so much, especially the marsh and all the good memories. Last week, Paul and I decided to visit Provincetown. We had a brochure from the commission Peter gave us, which described the Bayberry Hill walk into the marsh area. We took the walk and were able to see the beautiful view we had enjoyed for 30 years from just a different point. We went to sit on the bench at the edge of the marsh and found the screws had rusted away and the bench almost broke. When we rescued ourselves from nearly falling in the marsh, we had an idea. We would like to ask if it is at all possible, could we replace the old rickety wood bench with a new stone, possibly granite bench in honor of our parents? We know it is a wetland area and there are many considerations and restrictions in placing anything on this pristine and sensitive area. I wanted to contact your commission before we proposed this to Marika's 3 children and Peter's 4 children to see if they are interested in doing this. It could be about the same size as the current wooden bench. It would be nice if we could engrave it or place something on it to honor both our parents and their love for Wellfleet. We would like to have something for people to use as they pause their walk and enjoy this beautiful scene. We would love to hear from you and find out if this is possible. We hope that you will consider this and we can ask all of our siblings if this is something they would like to do for our parents and all the wonderful memories we have of Wellfleet. Sincerely, Sandra Weisblatt.
Hillary, the location of the bench, is it our property? Is it Conservation Trust property? Whose property is it?
I think it's ours, but Denny.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, but I think we've got a conservation restriction on it.
Yes, you do.
So we need to look at the restriction to see what it says before we go
How
any.
do I hang up?
Well, there is a bench there as Marika's
No,
daughter
I'm trying to
said.
hang up on this.
Yeah, the wooden
So
bench.
I can do the other. How do I hang up?
There is a wooden bench. So I don't know, Denny, if you could have a look at the restriction to see if we could replace the wooden bench with a granite bench.
Yeah, I'm not sure you want granite, but because you got to carry it a long way.
Yeah.
Denny, would you send a copy of the restriction so that it can be reviewed?
Sure.
Yeah, I just think we have to be careful about this. As the Conservation Trust knows, we have to have a policy about allowing benches or not allowing benches, and about allowing dedicated benches and accepting money for them. We cannot go about this willy-nilly so that one person is allowed to do this and another person is not.
Agree, Debbie, we know.
So Hillary, I think we need to look at this more carefully before we say anything.
Okay, I'll hold tight to it and we'll talk that over with Denny.
Do we have meeting minutes?
Should be one set.
Yeah,
Christine.
John edited them.
And what's the date of those? Is that the last meeting, Chris?
Yes.
September 16th.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to look at those?
Yes, I have.
Okay, could I have a motion, please, then?
I move we accept the meeting minutes of, what was the date again? September
16.
16th?
Second.
All those in favor? I'm sorry, I've lost videos, so if you could just state your name and your vote, I would appreciate it.
Barbara, yes.
John, yes.
Leon, yes.
Ben, yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Okay, and Debbie, yes. All right. Then I think we are through with the business meeting. What I'm going to do is try and get out and come back in and see if I can restore video, okay?
I can see you.
Huh.
Yeah.
I can't see
Barbara,
anything.
I see you again, so I know you're
I'm home now. I just got out of the car and now I'm on my lap.
okay.
That's so odd because I cannot see anything except a sign that says Zoom.
Well, if you want to try again, go ahead. Take 2
Yeah,
minutes.
we'll wait for you.
I'll do that. Hooray, I see everybody. Okay, then we'll start the business portion of the Town of Wellfleet Conservation Commission meeting of October 7th. This is held pursuant to the same authority previously stated. The first hearing we have tonight is Wiseman, 106 Fox Island Road, map 28, parcel 228. It's an RDA to construct a new deck and replace sonotubes. This is a continued matter. Is anyone here for this?
Debbie, if I might, this is Chris.
Yes.
I received a letter from Steve Wiseman, and because we had asked for a new site plan, he is now requesting, wait 1 second. It's being continued to October 21.
Could I have a motion then to continue, please?
I move we continue Weissman 106 Fox Island Road to October 21st.
Could I have a second, please?
Leon seconds.
All right, I need a voice vote. Leon?
Yes.
John Portnoy?
Yes.
Ben Fairbank?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Barbara Brennesel?
Yes.
And Debbie Freeman, yes. Okay. The next matter is Kane, 30 Higgins Lane, map 15, parcel 119, a request for a certificate of compliance. Is someone here for that?
Yes, Peter Kane, right here, under the name of Lisa.
Okay. Do you want to explain what's going on?
Yeah, we had the dike that had broken through, and we requested to repair it, and we were able to get that done like, I guess in around April. Planted some beach grass along one side of it, and it did okay, not great, but there's other stuff filling in. But it went together well, and it conforms to the design.
Hillary, have you been out to see this?
I have not been out to see it. John Kumbler was the supervisor. And I have
This is Mike Fisher. I went out there yesterday morning, and everything looks like it's coming along well.
Thank you.
the only other condition we had on the property was that debris was to be cleaned up and removed from the property. Peter, has that been done?
Yep.
Great.
Still get a pulled muscle from a couple of them, but I did get them out.
All right.
Then I think you can go ahead and move to issue the certificate of compliance.
Okay, do we need a motion for that?
Yes, please.
All right, could I have a motion?
I move that we approve the certificate of compliance for Kane at 30 Higgins Lane.
Could I have a second?
Second, Mike Fisher.
All right, I need a voice vote. Leon?
Yes.
John Portnoy?
Yes.
Ben Fairbank?
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Debbie, yes, you're all set.
Great, thanks very much.
Moore, 99 Way 60, map 19, parcel 13, RDA after the fact, 8 by 6 foot shed within the riverfront, 200-foot setback. Is someone here for this?
Yep, Steve and Linda Moore, we're both here.
Okay, do you want to talk about what's happened here?
So we moved to Wellfleet in middle of January, purchased this house and had a shed constructed on the property, was not aware the permissions we needed. And so the shed is there. The house is very small, so we needed a place where we could store yard tools. My husband loves to garden. So that's where we find ourselves.
Okay. Is the shed placed on sonotubes or is it directly on the ground?
It's on rocks, stone. It's on the ground.
Can I jump in here, Debbie? Part of the shed, from my understanding when I went out on the site, is that part of the shed is actually on a piece of the concrete foundation, and the rest of it is sitting on a stone driveway. So it's in an already disturbed area.
This is Mike Fisher. So I went out there this afternoon, and I don't think the shed is a problem. It's on already disturbed ground, and it's not affecting, I think, the area of the resource. But there are some other potential issues on the property that appeared. And I wonder if the owner addressed those.
You want to tell us what you're talking about?
Well, there was a pile of construction material on the resource, and there was a tree that fell down, but then there was another one that was cut down.
You know, during the kind of our period of stay at home in March, April, May, my husband did a lot of cleanup of the yard. So there are just, I think, old debris that was in the yard. That's in a pile, and it's towards the driveway of the house, and we'll certainly bring it to the recycling center. You know, we just wanted to clean up the property. And
okay, but the trees were also cut in the resource area?
One tree was, one dead tree was cut. There's another one that fell down on the property. We didn't disturb
you
that.
cannot leave trees in the resource area without permission.
Yeah, so yeah, we know that. There are some other trees that have been recommended to come down. We'll certainly, if we decide to do that, apply for the notice of intent, I think it is.
Hillary, what is the fine here?
So there is no fine. It's a $300 after the fact filing fee. And it looks like they paid the $30. So we need.
No, we paid 300.
Oh, you paid 300? Okay, maybe you
Absolutely.
paid 300 and I just couldn't read it in the book because I did just check that. Okay.
Now, was the 300 is for the shed. We've now learned about the tree also.
Let us
Debbie,
know what. Go ahead.
In this instance, I think the after the fact filing is certainly a warning that they should get permission in advance. And I think that the tree that was cut down was it may very well have been taken down when the dead tree fell. So I wouldn't push it on that.
Okay. Do we have a date by which the debris will be removed?
The recycling center open as of this week. I mean, we can.
Give me a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
By next week this time.
I would also recommend the bank going down from the house is eroding slowly, and I think it would be very good if they developed a plan for planting native bushes to hold that bank in place.
Yeah, we definitely want to improve the integrity of that slope. We don't have issues with erosion in the future. So we certainly would look to the commission for recommendations on appropriate plantings. You know, I know burning bushes are invasive, but other than that, I'm not sure what would be native to the area that would be a good thing to plant and help the slope so that it stays intact.
And you also said you were going to employ an arborist to be able to take down or make a proposal for taking down the trees that are threatening your house.
Yep, absolutely.
So if, with the understanding that they're going to be coming to us with a planting plan and maybe some tree management, we could look at these other issues when that comes up then.
Is there any further discussion?
I just have a question.
Yes, John.
I was on the commission when this, the plan for this house was approved. It was a long process, I remember. And we required this 10-foot wide planting area. And I was out at the site, but I couldn't really tell. Has that been planted? That was supposed to be 10-foot wide width of shrubs along the wetland border.
We weren't the persons that built the house, so if that was part of the original plan, I'm not sure. I remember when we were looking at the property, they said that they had done some planting.
I think if they were given a certificate of compliance, then it must have been done.
Was done.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So what do you want to do about the current situation? Do I have a motion to accept the RDA or is there something else that you would like to order?
No, I would be glad to move that we accept the RDA for 99 Way 60, map 19, parcel 16, and after the fact filing for a shed.
Okay, I think it's parcel 13.
Second.
Okay, we need a voice vote. Leon?
Yes.
John Portnoy?
Yes, and it's a -3, I believe.
Thank you.
In the resource area.
Barbara?
Yes.
It's in the resource area?
In the riverfront area.
Oh, riverfront, okay.
So it's a -2.
Right.
Ben?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And I'm gonna abstain because I spoke on behalf of the Herring River at the hearing on this matter and was concerned at that time about the development that was proposed, and now I see further development, so I don't feel I can vote impartially on this. So you're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate the time of the commission. We won't find ourselves in this position again.
Thank
Sure.
you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, Hillary, as I understand it, we have one more matter that's not listed but was continued.
Yes, we have McDavitt at 99 Holbrook that should have appeared on our agenda but did not. This was the landscaping project, the patio on Holbrook Ave that we heard at our last hearing. And we did receive new materials in which you should have gotten in your packets.
Okay, can we hear this wherein it wasn't listed on the agenda?
I don't 100% know what Robert's Rules of Order would say on that. I think I'm not sure.
I think based on our last meeting that had to be postponed because something wasn't posted, that we probably can't hear this.
Can or cannot?
Cannot.
Yeah.
Be my
Right.
guess.
Right. If an abutter had a problem with this, they'd want to be notified that they should come in and talk about it.
I'm sorry, but it's the problem under the open meeting law, and I do not think we can proceed and hear your matter tonight. And I apologize, but you are not listed on our agenda. And
Wait a minute, but, okay, this is an RDA, right? So the butters don't have to be notified.
I know
It's a public meeting.
it's
Public
a public meeting where people can come in and express their opinion. And if it's
Oh, no,
not,
I have no objection.
I'm sorry, I think you're going to have to come back.
Okay.
So what we will do is we will put you on first for the next meeting, if that's acceptable.
Sure.
Okay, in the public hearing portion.
Okay.
I wish there was a way around this, but I don't know of any way to do it.
I get it.
You won't be protected and we won't be protected. And if someone wanted to overturn it, it could be overturned and then you'd be back to square one.
Okay.
Okay? I'm sorry. All right.
Okay.
So unless there are other matters,
Did we handle Weissman? Because that's on the agenda, and I think that one got put on instead of McDavitt because we.
That's being
Christian
continued.
Wiseman had wanted a continuance until October 21st, and we continued that till October 21st.
Okay.
All right, is there anything else that we need to address tonight?
What about Upper Herring River? It's not part of our business, but we did receive the MET grant for those of you that aren't in the know on that, for Old Kings Highway and Patience Brook.
Right.
And that is going before the selectmen on Tuesday night to get a contract signed with MET. So that's exciting. And Lauren and I are working closely with Friends of Herring River on that one to propel that project forward. So just so everyone here knows.
Hillary, is that,
need a permit from us?
Will it need a permit from you?
From the Conservation Commission?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll need all sorts of permits.
Yeah.
Is that meeting of the selectmen, is that action by the select board pro forma, or should somebody show up for
I
it?
was going to show up. Lauren's going to show up. If you guys want to show up, great. But it seems pretty straightforward. We're getting $38,000 from MET. Lauren and I are serving as project managers, working with you guys and our team. And there's not much to say no about. We're not contributing anything financially. And I gave them a brief memo and I clipped in those 2 pictures of the streams. So I don't think there'll be a lot of questions. I think it's just, you know, it just needs to be authorized to have Maria sign it.
Okay, thank you for going.
Hillary, There was one final thing, which was the report on salt marsh migration. If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that right now because I haven't had time to read the report, but I sent it to y'all to read, and it really pretty much says the only places in town where we have room for salt marsh migration is Mayo Creek and Herring River. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is, but I think we should get that to our consultants so they can see it if they haven't seen it already.
It was fairly, it was just descriptive of those two marshes.
Yeah, I read it, Hillary, and I was confused. I don't understand their criteria, but I'm not sure how to get over that confusion other than talking to the authors.
So should I not read it?
You should definitely read it because I'm confused.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, do you think we should invite the author in to talk to us at a future meeting?
I think that would be a good idea. If we can manage that.
Inviting Carl and Tara, or?
Well, it came from Tara, didn't it?
Well, I thought Carl was the author. I could be wrong.
Oh, well,
I'll check into it.
prefer the author.
The only other thing I sent around late today was seeing if anyone was able to participate on Thursday in a climate action group meeting with the Cape Cod Commission. I am not available to participate. When I talked to Mike Travato, assistant TA, I suggested that our climate action group people are perfect for that. And that's Carol Magno and Susan. Does that ring a bell to you guys? No. No.
I cannot participate. I don't know about anybody else.
When is it?
It's tomorrow at 9. No, tomorrow. I sent you guys all the email. I feel like it's tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow 9 to 12, I think.
9 to 12, which is strange because I have a meeting with the energy people at 9 o'clock. So in any case, it's there. If folks are interested, maybe just reach out to Erin Perry and let her know. If you can't participate tomorrow, that's probably fine. I think there will be more meetings of that group, but we have a climate action and energy group in town. So I think they're perfectly capable of participating and letting us know sort of what's going on there. Suzanne Ryan is the other woman's name. Carol Magno and Suzanne Ryan. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to report today.
Okay. Anyone else with anything?
So we owe you two things, right? The signed certificate of compliance and a signed determination of applicability.
You
Is
got
that
it.
right?
You got it.
Okay, all righty.
So if people will return those to the DPW boxes, that'd be great. I need a motion to adjourn.
So
move, Mike.
And a second.
I'll second.
Did
we get those forms? I'm looking.
They were sent in an email, Barbara.
In email. Okay, I have.
There's a PDF.
Okay, thank you.
Leon, how do you vote?
Yes.
John Portnoy?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
And Debbie, yes. We are adjourned. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.